Sáng nay chúng ta sẽ thực tập ngồi thiền 10 phút trước khi buổi lễ. Và là chúng mình ổn định chỗ ngồi và mình cố gắng giữ im lặng trước khi mình bắt đầu buổi lễ sáng hôm nay. Good morning, dear Sangha. This morning we will practice 10 minutes of meditation before we begin the service this morning. Please find your seat and practice silence before we begin the ceremony. Cảm ơn đại chúng chọn cho mình một tư thế ngồi thoải mái. Mình cố gắng ngồi lưng vừa thẳng, hai vai thả lỏng, buông tư toàn thân. Please find yourself a comfortable posture, sitting with your back straight, your shoulders relaxed, and returning to your breathing. Mình không cần ép hơi thở, mình cứ để hơi thở tự nhiên và theo dõi từng hơi thở. We don't need to force our breathing or try to extend it. Just allow yourself to follow your breathing with each breath. Thở vào, mình ý thức mình đang thở vào. Thở ra, mình ý thức mình đang thở ra. Vào, ra. Breathing in, I'm aware of my in-breath. Breathing out, I'm aware of my out-breath. In-breath, out-breath. Thở vào, thở vào. Tôi ý thức toàn thân. Thở ra, buông thư toàn thân. Ý thức toàn thân, buông thư toàn thân. Breathing in, I'm aware of my whole body. Breathing out, I calm my whole body. Aware of body, calming body. Thở vào, tâm tĩnh lặng. Thở ra, miệng mỉm cười. Tâm tĩnh lặng, miệng mỉm cười. Breathing in, my mind is settled. Breathing out, I smile. Mind settling, body smiling. ra tôi ý thức đây là giây phút hạnh phúc, an trú trong hiện tại, giờ phút hạnh phúc. Breathing in, I dwell in the present moment. Breathing out, I know it's a happy moment. Present moment, happy moment. Đại chúng xả chân trước khi mình đứng lên. Please release your legs and massage before we stand up. Và xin nhắc đại chúng vị nào có cell phone thì xin tắt cell phone trước khi, để giữ cho buổi lễ được thanh tịnh và trang nghiêm. A reminder for those who have a cell phone to please turn off your cell phone or to set to vibrate mode as to not disturb the atmosphere of the ceremony. Thank you. Peranakan cantik. chúng cùng quỳ xuống. Please kneel down and join your palms. Trầm hương đô sống nhà bởi phương, nguyện nguyện kính đến niệm từ vô lượng, cầu cầu xin chúng tâm thành chúng con vần vần khói kết mây lại cúng dường, nào niềm mau đã lan truyền nơi cùng nơi, nhờ chân lý chúng sanh đều thoát luân hồi, đồng ý kết quỳ dưới đại sen, dân hóa thâm tinh kia màu thắm tươi cành, đại quang minh sáng huy hoàng trang nghiêm, hơn 10 phương điều nở hào quang an lành, nhiên đạo uyên chuyên soi khắp cùng quần sanh, phần nào đâu cùng nhau tu tinh tâm nào viễn thành. Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Xin cho khói trầm thơm kết thành mây năm sắc, dâng lên khắp 10 phương cung dường vô lượng Phật, vô lượng chư Bồ Tát cùng các thánh hiền tăng, nơi pháp giới dung thông kết đài sen rực rỡ, nguyện làm bạn đồng hành trên con đường giác ngộ sinh mọi loài chúng sanh, từ bỏ cõi lạc quên theo đường giới định tuệ, quay về trong tinh thức. Chúng con kính dâng hương lên Phật và chư vị Bồ Tát. Hôm nay tất cả chúng con phụng đối trước Phật đài, chỉ thành dân hương cúng dường ba ngôi vô thường, nhất tâm ôn tụng lời Phật dạy, quyết theo pháp Phật làm lành, bảo đền công ơn hóa độ, nguyện đem công đức lành này, nguyện cho thế giới hòa bình chúng sanh an lạc, lại xin kỳ siêu cho các hương linh hồ đặc phúc pháp nhân giáp tình, nguyện thị hạnh pháp nhân diệu huệ, hồ hoàng thắng pháp nhân tâm phước, phương thị tên nguyện vô danh, thái văn đây nhiêu học huỳnh, hứa thị tư nhiêu thâm, nguyện thị mỹ lê pháp nhân hoàng hương võ văn quyết, bạch ngọc tượng nguyện hoàng Peter Julian hay đăng khoa Richard, lê thượng nguyện văn hồng, trần thị hen nguyện hồng giang, dư phú duy thi mùi huỳnh thị hưởng trần văn năm pháp nhân thiện lực, Lễ phước ân võ văn hào, pháp nhân chúc thuận lễ tô hà. Trương thị ngọc sương trần cao nhân, mai ngọc thủy pháp nhân từ ân bình. Nguyện văn âm pháp nhân đức trà lâm công giàu, lê ri huỳnh thị chính. La Tuy Dung Châu Thu Lan Huỳnh In Quốc. Nguyện các hương linh nương tựa tam bảo lực, nghe kinh thính pháp liệu ngộ vô thường, cầu vãng sanh tịnh độ. Tự nguyện kỳ an Phật tử Mariparisa. Nguyện Phật tử thân tâm an lạc, bệnh tật tiêu trừ, thường được an lành, xa lìa khổ ách. Nguyện chúng con thân tâm an lạc, tai trước tiêu trừ, sở nguyện tùy tâm viên mãn. Ngưỡng mong oai đức từ bi Quan Lâm đạo tràng, chứng minh công đức. Nam mô Hương cúng dường Bồ Tát, Nam mô chứng minh sư Bồ Tát, Nam mô đạo tràng hội thượng Phật Bồ Tát. Xin tôn như hoa sen rạng ngời như bắt đầu. Xin quay về nương náu bậc thầy của nhân thiên. Sen quý nở đài giác ngộ, hào quang chiếu rạng mười phương. Trí tuệ vượt tầm pháp giới, từ bi thấm nhuận non sông. Vừa thấy dung nhan điều ngự, trăm ngàn phiền não sạch không. Hướng về tạng dương công đức, tinh chuyên đạo nghiệp vung trồng. Nhân tâm kinh lệ, bùng pháp tăng thượng trụ, trong mười phương. Nhân tâm kinh lệ, đức bổn sư bổn thích ca mâu ni. Nhưng tâm kinh lệ, liền vì tổ sư qua các thời đại, từ Tây Trung cho đến Việt Nam. Mời đại chúng an tọa. Please be seated. Kính mời đại chúng mở kinh trang số 4. Please turn the chanting book to page 4. Kinh 8 điều giác ngộ của các bậc đại nhân. Là đệ tử, một thì nên hết lòng ngày cũng như đêm đọc tụng và quán niệm về 8 điều mà các bậc đại nhân đã giác ngộ. Điều thứ nhất là giác ngộ rằng cuộc đời là vô thường, chế độ chính trị nào cũng dễ sụp đổ. Những cấu tạo của 4 đại đều trống rỗng và có tác dụng gây đau khổ. Con người do tập hợp của 5 ấm mà có, lại không có thực ngã, sinh diệt thay đổi không ngừng, hư ngụy và không có chủ quyền. Trong khi đó, tâm ta lại là một nguồn suối phát sinh điều ác, và thân ta là một nơi tích tụ của tội lỗi. Quán chiếu như trên thì dần dần thoát được cõi sinh tử. Điều thứ hai là giác ngộ rằng càng lắm ham muốn thì lại càng nhiều khổ đau, rằng bao nhiêu cực nhọc trong cõi sinh tử đều do ham muốn mà có. Trong khi đó, người ít ham muốn thì không bị hoàn cảnh sai sự, lại cảm thấy thân mình và tâm mình được thư thái. Điều thứ ba là giác ngộ rằng vì tâm ta rong ruổi chạy theo danh lời, không bao giờ biết chán, cho nên tội lỗi ta cũng theo đó mà càng ngày càng lớn. Các bậc Bồ Tát thì khác hẳn, họ luôn luôn nhớ nghĩ đến phép tri túc, an vui sống đời đàm bạc, để hành đạo và xem sự nghiệp duy nhất của mình là sự thực hiện trí tuệ giác ngộ. Điều thứ tư là giác ngộ rằng thói quen lười biếng đưa đến chỗ đọa lạc. Vì vậy, con người phải chuyên cần hành đạo, phá giặc phiền não, hàng phục 4 loại ma và ra khỏi ngục tù của 5 ấm và 3 giới. Điều thứ năm là giác ngộ rằng chính vì vô minh nên mới bị giam hãm trong cõi sinh tử. Các vị Bồ Tát thường xuyên nhớ rằng phải học rộng, biết nhiều, phát triển trí tuệ, đạt được biện tài để giáo hóa cho mọi người, để cho tất cả đạt tới niềm vui lớn. Điều thứ sáu là giác ngộ rằng vì nghèo khổ cho nên người ta sinh ra nhiều oán hận và căm thù, và vì thế lại tạo thêm những nhân xấu. Các vị Bồ Tát biết thế cho nên chuyên tu phép bố thí, coi kẻ ghét người thương như dao, bỏ qua những điều ác mà người khác đã làm đối với mình, và không đem tâm ghét bỏ những ai đã làm ác. Điều thứ bảy là giác ngộ rằng 5 thứ dục vọng gây nên tội lỗi và hoạn nạn. Người xuất gia tuy sống trong thế tục nhưng không nhiễm theo cái vui phạm tục, thường quán niệm rằng tài sản của mình chỉ là 3 chiếc áo ca sa và 1 chiếc bình bát. Tất cả đều là pháp khí, rằng chí nguyện xuất gia của mình là sống thanh bạch để hành đạo, giữ phạm hạnh cho thanh cao và đem lòng từ bi để tiếp xử với tất cả mọi người. Điều thứ 8 là giác ngộ rằng vì lửa sinh tử cháy bừng cho nên mọi loài đang chịu biết bao niềm thống khổ. Biết vậy cho nên ta phải phát tâm đại thừa, nguyện cứu tế cho tất cả mọi người, nguyện thay thế cho mọi người mà chịu khổ đau vô lượng, khiến cho tất cả chúng sanh đều đạt tới niềm vui cứu cánh. 8 điều nói trên là những điều giác ngộ của các bậc đại nhân, Bụt và Bồ Tát. Những vị này đã tinh tấn hành đạo, tu tập từ bi và trí tuệ, đã cưỡi thuyền pháp thân đến được bến niết bàn. Khi trở về lại cõi sinh tử, độ thoát cho chúng sanh. Các vị đều dùng 8 điều giác ngộ ấy để khai mở và chỉ đường cho mọi người, khiến cho chúng sanh ai cũng giác ngộ được cái khổ của sinh tử, lìa bỏ được ngũ dục và hướng tâm vào con đường thánh. Nếu đệ tử Phật mà thường đọc tụng 8 điều này thì mỗi khi quán niệm diệt được vô lượng tội, tiến tới giác ngộ, mau lên chánh giác, vĩnh viễn đoạn tuyệt với sinh tử, thường trú trong sự an lạc.
Discourse on the 8 realizations of the great beings. Wholeheartedly, day and night, disciples of the awakened one should recite and meditate on the 8 realizations discovered by the great beings. The first realization is the awareness that the world is impermanent. Political regimes are subject to fall. Things composed of the 4 elements are empty, containing within them the seeds of suffering. Human beings are composed of 5 aggregates and are without a separate self. They're always in the process of change, constantly being born and constantly dying. They're empty of self and without a separate existence. The mind is the source of all confusion, and the body the forest of all unwholesome actions. Meditating on this, you can be released from the round of birth and death. The second realization is the awareness that more desire brings more suffering. All hardships in daily life arise from greed and desire. Those with little desire and ambition are able to relax their body and mind, free from entanglement. The third realization is the awareness that the human mind is always searching outside itself and never feels fulfilled. This brings about unwholesome activity. Bodhisattvas, on the other hand, know the value of having few desires. They live simply and peacefully so they can devote themselves to practicing the way. They regard the realization of perfect understanding to be their only career. The fourth realization is the awareness that indolence is an obstacle to practice. You must practice diligently to transform unwholesome mental states that bind you, and you must conquer the 4 kinds of Maya in order to free yourself from the prisons of the 5 aggregates in the 3 worlds. Fifth realization is awareness that ignorance is the cause of the endless round of birth and death. Bodhisattvas always listen to and learn from others, so their understanding and skillful means can develop, and so they can teach living beings and bring them great joy. The sixth realization is the awareness that poverty creates hatred and anger, which creates a vicious cycle of negative thoughts and actions. When practicing generosity, Bodhisattvas consider everyone, friends and enemies alike, to be equal. They do not condemn anyone's past wrongdoings or hate even those presently causing harm. The seventh realization is the awareness that the 5 categories of sensual desire, money, sex, fame, overeating, oversleeping, lead to problems. Although you are in the world, try not to be caught in worldly matters. A monk, for example, has in his possession only 3 robes and 1 bowl. He lives simply in order to practice the way. His precepts keep him free from attachment to worldly things, and he treats everyone equally and with compassion. The 8th realization is the awareness that the fire of birth and death is raging, causing endless suffering everywhere. Take the great vow to help all beings, to suffer with all beings, and to guide all beings to the realm of great joy. These 8 realizations are the discoveries of great beings, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, who have practiced diligently the way of understanding and love. They have sailed the Dharmakaya boat to the shore of Nirvana and have then returned to the ordinary world, free of the 5 sensual desires, their minds and hearts directed towards the noble way. Using these 8 realizations, they help all beings recognize the suffering in the world. If disciples of the Buddha recite and meditate on these 8 realizations, they will put an end to countless misunderstandings and difficulties and progress towards enlightenment, leaving behind the world of birth and death, dwelling forever in peace.
Mời đại chúng mở kinh trang số 10. Please turn to page 10. Trang nghiêm đại sen gờ tòa đại hùng tử phụ thịnh ca đệ tử lắng lòng thanh tịnh tây trăm thành liên hoa từ tất cả pháp thoát ngoài sanh tử trần lao nguyện học nói lời
thương yêu trong sống sống chiều và đêm luôn vui tới mọi điều và dương người sao đau đến đau công
ơn cha mẹ ơn thầy nghĩa bạn dạy sâu tinh thành tâm hương một nén
đại sẽ có nguyện hồi đầu nguyện đỡ từ bi che chở
trời con đường đạo nhiệm màu nguyện xin chuyên cần tu tập phúc trọn đạo quả về sau. Kính mời đại chúng mở kinh trang số 22. Please turn to page 22. Nguyện ngày an lành đêm an lành
ngày đêm sao thời điều
an lành trong mọi giây mọi phút cầu tam bảo luôn che chở. Nam mô Đức Bồ Tát
thiếu ta giá kiết
Thượng Nam mô Đức Bồ Tát Tiêu Tại Giác Kiết Tường
Nam mô Đức Bồ Tát thiếu ta
Giác Kiết Tường con về nước tường người đưa đường chỉ lối cho con trong cuộc đời.
con về nước
Pháp con đường của tình thương và sự biết con về nương tựa tăng đoàn thể của nhân đời.
nguyện sống của đời tự thân
Chỉ nấu kinh tâm diệu tạo công đức vô biên để tự
sẽ nói
hướng cho chúng sanh mọi miền pháp môn sinh nguyện hồng nghĩa
nguyện đền phiền não xin nguyện
hòa vọng sinh chân mời đại chúng xả chân trước khi mình đứng lên. Please release your legs and massage before we stand up. In gratitude to our parents who give us life, our nation that keeps us safe, we bow deeply to the three jewels in the 10 directions. Đệ tử chúng con nhớ cha mẹ sanh thành quốc dân bảo hộ, cúi đầu kính lễ tam bảo thường trụ trong 10 phương. In gratitude to our teachers, our ancestors, and our friends who support us on our path, we bow deeply to the three jewels in the 10 directions. Đệ tử chúng con nhân sư trưởng giáo huấn luyện vì tính thi đàn na, cúi đầu kính lễ tam bảo thường trụ trong 10 phương. In gratitude to all living beings in the animal, plant, and mineral worlds, we bow deeply to the 3 jewels in the 10 directions. Đệ tử chúng con nhớ mọi loài chúng sanh cây cỏ đất đá, cúi đầu kính lễ tam bảo thường trụ trong 10 phương.
Kính mời đại chúng cùng an tọa. Please be seated. Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Con kính bạch thầy, kính thưa đại chúng. Trước khi bắt đầu buổi chia sẻ bằng tiếng Anh, kính mời đại chúng cùng chắp tay niệm Phật. Please join your palms and recite the Buddha's name. Nam mô A Bồ Ma Sư A Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Nam Bồ Ma Sư A Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Nam Sư A Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Dear respected Thai, dear community, today is September 17th, the year 2023, and we're here at the Trúc Lâm Monastery during our weekly Sunday sessions. It's been a while since I stood here and shared my practice and experience. It's been well over 2 months since we have, I guess, returned to our regular programming. During the summer, we're super busy, and now we're back to our regular, almost kind of like going back to our fall semester of the year. Ever since July, it's been quite busy at the monastery. So today I'd like to share a couple points and things that we have learned during our trip. So it almost feels like, I don't know if you ever watch Journey to the West. There's a part where the monkey has to go down to the hell, the depths, and has to report to the gatekeeper all the things that he's done, or the gatekeeper had to report. And I feel like today is the same. I'll be sharing kind of a summary of what has happened at the monastery in the past month or so. Starting in July, we had more like end of June, we had to help prepare for the retreats, from the youth retreat to the adult retreat. And during the youth retreat, we had about 250 participants. So usually the young people would be attending with their parents. And so when the young people have scheduled activities with the monastics, the adults, the parents also has activities with the Thai and the senior monks. And when reflect back on the retreat, I think it's quite beautiful to have a retreat for both. Before it was only young people, and maybe the parents would just send their kids here, and then we would pick them up at the airport, and then bring them to Westlock and they practice, and then we would bring them back to the airport. But I noticed like in these past few years, a lot of the parents come along, and to me I think that is a sign that there's a lot of problems, a lot of misunderstanding between parents and their children. And from what I gathered, when I, with the young people, there's always miscommunication between the parents towards the young people, but also their children towards their parents. And the parents also express the same thing, that they sometimes don't understand their children as much as they want to. And that's why in this retreat, we had young people practice, but we also had the parents, aside from helping with cooking and preparing for the retreat, they would also be attending Dharma discussions, sharings with Thai, sharing their points, the things that have been working as a parent, but also things that have not been working as a parent. So that's the youth retreat. And from this youth retreat, one thing that usually on the last day of the retreat, we would organize a day to go to the beach. When I say beach, it's more like a lake, and there's like a beach area, or somewhere with nature. But of course, on the last day, I remembered we had to pivot because it was cloudy, it was about to rain, and of course that is not ideal beach weather, and so we had to find another place to go to. So we just told all the kids to go to the mall for the day, and they were so happy. So that was one of the things that I think that's important, is learning how to be flexible, learning how to pivot whenever it's possible. And so that's the youth retreat. So the youth retreat was in July. And then starting in the end of July to about mid-August, we had the adult retreat. And we had 800 plus people come from all over the world, from Europe, from Australia, mostly from the States, coming here and practicing with us. And my responsibility is for pickup, so for transportation. And Tai always says that the two most difficult teams during the retreat is the cooking team and also the transportation team. And for me, I think that I'm always known to be smiling and always be happy. And I think that I try to be very welcoming, because I know that people, they fly from all over the world, from Australia, from Europe. And if I was there and I was groggy, I was unpleasant, I don't want to add to that energy. And to me, I think that when I see new people, when they arrive at the airport, I try to be positive and be happy. Even if I'm really tired, I spent, before the retreat, had to spend 3 full days from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the airport all day. And I try to make it fun, I know it sounds really long, but it's when I see people come, and they come from afar, and they come to this small city like Edmonton, where there's nothing, but they just come here to practice. And I know that I'm very happy because out of all the places they could go to this summer, they could go to Hawaii, they could go to somewhere nice and warm, but they decided to go to Edmonton and to practice and be with the community. And so when I know this, I'm always happy to receive them and to greet them. And then, so my job is to gather people together, and then I would have a volunteer, like a driver's volunteer list, and they would help me drive them to either to Trúc Lâm or to Westlock, which is about an hour away from the airport. So I share this in the future. If there's any friends or volunteers that would like to help with pickups, especially with retreats. Our retreats are steadily growing in size. Our fall retreat this year, within 2-3 weeks, there will be 400 plus people coming here from all over the world for our fall retreat. And our fall retreat is usually about maybe maximum 150, but this fall retreat has been growing to almost 400 plus people. And so if you're interested in helping with driving people, picking up people from the airport, you can write your name, the amount of space you have in your car, and you leave your phone number, and I will arrange, and also your availability, especially from, so the retreat, fall retreat this year is from October 6th to the 9th of 2023. So usually they would come a couple of days before, so like October 4 or 5th or 6th. And if you're free during those days, please feel free to write your name, your phone number, your number of space in your car, and you could volunteer to help pick up guests. So during the adult retreat, it's a 10-day, I would say a hardcore Buddhist retreat where there's a lot of talks, a lot of chanting. And in this retreat, it's a retreat in which we it's called kind of sowing the seeds of monastichood, because maybe some of us want to become monastics, we want to become monks, nuns, but of course due to our societal life responsibilities, we cannot be like monks and nuns. So in this retreat, a lot of people, they want to kind of plant that seed of monastichood, maybe for their next life, or to, within these 10 days, they would be vegetarian, practicing like monks. So they want to kind of practice and earn merits, maybe for their loved ones, for themselves. So after the adult retreat, so we had the youth retreat, then the adult retreat, and then afterwards we had a weekend retreat in Vancouver. So one of our senior nuns, Nisa Min Ang from Vancouver, just recently moved monasteries. So she used to be in, if you're familiar with the Vancouver area, from Burnaby to Surrey, and then she bought a much bigger place. So her previous location was quite small. It was in a neighborhood, and there was not a lot of parking. And so she found a new place in Surrey where it was much more open space, a lot of space for cars, and a lot more people could attend. And I remember Tai saying that this place seemed very far for everyone, and very not as beautiful as it can be. But then when we arrived, it was everything just transformed. The things that the Venerable Nun did was quite amazing, to transform that place within a couple months into a place of practice was quite amazing. And it's we always talk about transformation. We all have different emotions, negative emotions, and if we know the practice, the methods, especially in Buddhism, there's so much ways to see those emotions in a different light. And when we're able to see it in a different light, we can transform those emotions. So just like the new monastery, we went from something quite barren, very old, but it transformed into something quite beautiful. And afterwards, during the end of August, we had Lei Vulan here, Parents Festival. And during Parents' Day, of course, we had a tradition of putting a rose on your chest to signify the importance of your parents living, or if they pass away, they're always in your heart. But on the same day, we were told, myself and Brother Dendang, Brother Lawrence, we were told to rent a U-Haul and drive a massive halo. There's no halo here, but at Westlock there's a halo, to Dallas, Texas. So that was a 30-hour drive. And at first we were quite nervous because we'd never driven that far. But I figured that they wanted to have the halo of the Buddha. And this halo is usually placed behind the Buddha's head. And this halo just arrived in Westlock from Vietnam. And so I figured that they're about to have Lê Vu Lang as well. And they wish to have that halo before the ceremony. So myself, my brother, then I decided to drive down. It was a total 30-hour drive, but of course we didn't drive all the way 30 hours because that would be too crazy. So we kind of broke it up into chunks. So it took us 3 days to get to Dallas, Texas from Westlock. And I think whenever we practice, especially in our life, we encounter so many different experiences that we can learn from it. And that's where I think we can have insight. Insight is from our ability to see what we have learned in the text, in the sutras, but also to learn from our experience in life. And when we drove through, I always thought that when we were able to cut it through, piece it out, 10 hours a day to drive, I think it was more manageable. At first it was 30 hours. That sounds impossible. But then you had to cut it back. You had to cut it into chunks, so 10 hours a day, 10 hours a day. And whenever, I was able to drive 5 hours, my brother drive 5 hours, so it wasn't too bad. But then I think that in our life, it's important that it's kind of the same, especially our practice. Usually if we're beginners, we dive headfirst into the practice, gotta meditate for an hour, meditate for 2 hours. But Thai always shares with us that it's always little by little. Practicing maybe 10 minutes of meditation a day until you go to 20 minutes, and then 30 minutes. Slowly you go up. If you're practicing being a vegetarian, it's the same thing. Thai always shares that maybe you cannot do vegetarian for your whole life, but then you could do maybe one meal as a vegetarian, or maybe it's just one dish as a vegetarian if it's too difficult. So it's always that we are able to piece it out, cut it into chunks, that we're able to manage it more easily. So when we got to the temple in Dallas, it's our sister temple. Huỳnh Quang is our temple in Dallas. And that's sometimes Thai would fly down there to organize retreats. So after Dallas, so it was a one-way trip with a U-Haul from Westlock to Dallas. So we dropped off the U-Haul in Dallas, and then we flew from Dallas to San Jose to meet Thai. And I know that in the past couple of weeks, Thai hasn't been here. Some of the brothers have been here and there, but this month is quite busy for Thai, hosting retreats in many different parts of America, from California to Boston, and right now Thai and some of our brothers is in Montreal, hosting a retreat there. And you can see that a lot of people are, I wouldn't say desire, but it's more of like a need. A lot of people are suffering in this time, and so when we come to retreats, when they come to talks, it's a way for them to learn different methods to transform. So in San Jose, we were in San Jose, California for 4 days, and it was quite busy. A couple of days in San Jose. It wasn't a holiday; it was a retreat. So we had a retreat for about 700 people in San Jose, and it was hosted by some lay friends, and it was at a hall, at a center. And the young monastics were responsible for leading some of the young people in San Jose. And we had about maybe 30 people come, and we talked about consumption, about the 5 trainings, And some of the things I kind of noticed was that young people in San Jose, they're quite calm, quite respectful of monastics. When we have youth retreats, they come to Westlock. They all come from different parts of the United States, and I can see that they're quite a little bit not as disciplined as some of the young people in San Jose. And it talks about, and Tanya was talking about how young people in San Jose, they're brought up to go to the monastery quite young, when they're quite young. So they have learned everything about being in the temple, the manners, and so when I met them, you could see their energy, you could feel the energy of respect. So in San Jose, we had a retreat for adults. So Tanya was taking care of the adults, and of course the monastics were taking care of the young people. After San Jose, we had the honor of being invited to go to Hawaii for some time. And I know that we would never ever wish to go to Hawaii, to ask Tanya to go to Hawaii for a holiday. But we were invited from the temple, from the nuns, to go there and just to relax, to enjoy our time. And at first, we had to bring 4 little boys with us. And at first we were a little bit scared because we felt like it would be like a babysitting trip, taking care of them. But then after a while, I think we really, when we saw the boys in the water, in the beach, enjoying themselves, most of the monastics were just kind of just sitting back and relaxing. To see them enjoy the water, it just brought a lot of joy. It brought a lot of joy to me because I think these boys, sometimes they grow up in a monastery and they don't have the means, or they don't have a lot of opportunity to really see what's out there, what's in life. And Tai has given us permission to go to Hawaii for some time, to enjoy the beach, enjoy the temples and a lot of the fruits there, the fruit trees. It was quite a beautiful and nourishing experience. Usually after the adult retreat, we would organize trips for the monastics, our kind of mini vacation. But we would sometimes go somewhere that's close by. So we would drive. I think our furthest trip was like going to Colorado, a 20-hour drive, or would go somewhere not too far because we were always afraid that maybe there's something Tai needs us, so we could come back we're readily available to go back if needed. And the purpose of this trip is, just like any trip, when you go on a trip with your family, is to bond and to have times to be with your children, because we know that one time they will grow up and then they will find their own family and we won't have that time anymore with them. So for us as brothers, we try to nourish each other's presence, because sometimes in the retreats we're so busy and we don't have time for one another. But on these trips we're forced to be together. So wherever we go together, and then I think it nourishes our brotherhood even more. But of course, after maybe the first 3 days in Hawaii, I think some of us began to have this feeling of homesick, because we've been traveling for so long, and that we wanted to come back here. We missed the cold for some reason, and we missed that home feeling. And so when we came back here, I noticed the leaves already changed color. It's been only 2.5 weeks, but the leaves have already changed color. It's gotten a little bit colder, a little bit cooler. And we can see that impermanence, the teaching of impermanence, is always present in all aspects of our lives. Whenever we see the leaves change, the weather change, we know that it's almost ready to welcome fall. And after fall, of course, it's winter time. And we know that when it's about to be winter, we have to change our tires, our winter tires. I'm already thinking about changing all of our vehicles, Temple's cars, because we have like 10 cars, and so we have to change all the tires. With that, I think I wanted to summarize all the things that we have done during July, August, and now it's September, and it's so quick. We have a fall retreat in 2 weeks, 400 people coming, and so in this 2 weeks, we're also preparing for people coming early to help prepare for the retreat. So aside from the transportation for the pickups, if you have time on the weekends, you can come to Westlock. That's where our retreats are held, and you can help us prepare beds, etc. for the retreats. So with that, I'd like to thank you for all your time. In the coming weeks, Tai will also not be here because of other commitments, but the brothers will be here with all of you. So again, thank you for your time, and see you next week. Thank you. Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Con cũng xin phép thông báo là từ 6 tây tới 9 tây tháng 10 2023 là khóa tu mùa thu, và theo con biết là đăng ký đã đóng rồi, tại vì nó quá đông, cho nên là khóa tu cho nên cần sự hỗ trợ của quý Phật tử. Quý Phật tử phải cần đi đón và cần sắp xếp những chỗ ở trên Tây Thiên, cho nên quý Phật tử mà có thể tình nguyện đi đón khách đó, nhất là từ 4 tây, 5 tây, 6 tây đó, thì quý vị có thể xuống lầu đăng ký tên, bao nhiêu chỗ trong xe và số phone giờ giấc của mình để ban vận chuyển biết, để liên lạc. Nam mô Di Đà Phật. Xin đại chúng cùng hồi hương. Nguyện đem công đức này hướng về cả đệ tử và chúng sanh